This is Logical MGTOW Spock. This video is in constitutional defense for Donovan Sharpe. It has come to my attention, and this is not a roast video, by the way. This is a defending a human being type Logical MGTOW video. But it has come to my attention that a young woman who thinks that she has a place to judge and negatively assume a fellow MGTOW brother and another human being at the same point. Her name is Joy Isabel, Isable. Anyway, she thinks that she can plainly judge and negatively assume and put her 2 cents in when it comes to the fact that she had no place to negatively attack nor negatively assume anything of anybody. Yet she wants to do that towards Donovan Sharpe, a fellow MGTOW brother. Now, Joy, you may think you're doing something right by in defense of the woman. You are a very young woman and you're still learning your ways in life. I'm not attacking you, but you need to quit putting your 2 cents in, even if you mean well or not, which basically you don't, obviously, because I've seen the other videos that you've done, even against MGTOW. You, Joy Isabel, would not want people to judge you. You would not want people to negatively assume things even of and about you. So quit attacking that of what you do not know, which is MGTOW, and that you of what you do not understand, which is MGTOW. And Donovan Sharpe has every constitutional right to voice how he feels and what he thinks and how he sees things. That's his constitutional right. But Joy, Isabel, you have no constitutional right to act as if he's in the wrong when he's not. You do not have any spiritual nor constitutional place to negatively assume things of anybody. Joy, Isabel, you need to learn. There's a place, there's a time and place for everything, for one. Two, unless your opinion or thought vocally is asked, then yeah, you can, okay? But nobody asked you what your thought was when it came to Donovan Sharpe. Nobody asked you to simply go into thinking that you know shit when you don't, even about a MGTOW brother, even about MGTOW in general, the philosophy. It's not a movement. It's not a group. Now, Joy Isabel, I'm a humanitarian advocate outside of MGTOW, okay? I have a right to defend those who I know are being wrongfully judged, wrongfully attacked, wrongfully assumed of, and in addition, Joy, first off, before I bring that addition in, it is said that many men will say it's just like a woman to put her 2 cents in where it does not belong. Technically, in this case, that's the truth. But outside of that, Joy, you, by going against anybody, even in the MGTOW manosphere, you are going against the Bible, Joy. Even if you mean well, you cannot plainly assume that you know why he made a video. You cannot plainly assume that you know he should what as if you can call the shots of like, oh, he shouldn't have done that. He doesn't have a right to say that about his woman. He doesn't have the right to say things that I don't agree with. You don't have a say. You don't have any justification, Joy, Isabel. You don't have any justification to put your 2 cents in thinking that you can say what men or anybody for that matter can say and what they cannot. And you cannot even do that to me. In fact, even if I found that you did, you would be questioned by law. And I can easily make it to where you are questioned by law in the internet aspect. Thereby, you will be questioned by law if you continue to put your 2 cents in where it does not belong, Joy Isabel. Now, I respect women. We MGTOW respect women, but we don't have to go to the points of dating them if we don't want to. We don't have to deal with women if we don't want to. That's our God-given and constitutional right, even when it comes to the Bible. The Bible states, judge not, for ye will be judged, Joy Isabel. That includes you. You've been roasted by one new MGTOW member. I'm not going to mention his name because he deserves respect, like every other person in the MGTOW manosphere deserves respect. But the one thing is, Donovan Sharpe didn't do a damn thing to you, Joy Isabel. He just voiced something to the MGTOW manosphere and the MGTOW members. Yet you thought you could just jump in and fucking just act as if you, woman, hear you roar, hear you justify and make law when you're not in that place to do so. So, Joy, if you want to be respected, you need to respect us, MGTOW members. Quit negatively assuming that you can say things that you don't know truly about the person. And you don't even know the person in general, so you cannot just simply go right into the points of judging and negatively assuming because you're going against the Bible when you do that. Joy, Isabel, you are not without sin. You might think that you are without sin, but you're not. You will never be. No feminist and no female in the female gender, no woman in the female gender is without sin. Not one. Yes, we men are not without sin, but guess what? Donovan Sharpe did not sin by voicing how he felt. He has every constitutional right to voice how and what he feels and how he feels and why he feels this way and various other things. So Joy, Isabel, you have no place in real reality, this known reality, even to voice something that you think you're doing in defense of a woman, when the woman and Donovan Sharpe have been together for how long, it doesn't really matter. But the basic fact is, you cannot voice and put your 2 cents in to someone else's personal business. But the one thing is, if Donovan wants to voice something to the MGTOW manosphere, that's his right. He's not doing anything against his woman. He's not doing anything against the Constitution or the law. But who is going against one's rights and who is going against one's constitutional freedoms and who is going against their spirit, going against a person sinfully and illogically, is you. Joy Isabel, you need to learn your place. And your place is not to go against us MGTOW members. Your place is not to go against MGTOW because you do not truly understand it. You are still a young woman and you are still learning the ways of society and the rules of society and the way of life and all that, which is understandable and okay. Okay, I'm not attacking you, but the basic fact is I'm telling you straight out. You don't have a place to wrongfully judge and negatively assume anybody, not even in the MGTOW manosphere. No matter, even if they do make a video about a woman that's in their life, or even about a woman that was in their life, or even about women in general that we have dealt with. That's our right. You're acting as if Joy, you're Isabel, you're acting as if you have a place to say, men can't do that, but we women can do that to men. That's no more than a double standard, you young, ignorant woman. Now, I am not attacking you, but the basic fact is I'm telling you, Joy Isabel, the truth, both spiritually as well as morally and logically. You want to voice about something, voice about something that you do know. You cannot voice about people that you don't know. You cannot voice about a group, a manosphere, or a group in general that you do not understand. Yes, Constitution, you might have a right to, but guess what, though? In accordance to this Bible, you don't. Because the way women have done it, even against MGTOW and even against the MGTOW members, has gone against the Bible and freedom of speech. Freedom of a human being, namely any male essentially, of what they want to say and how they feel. That's their God-given right and constitutional right and spiritual right. So, Joy Isabel, stop doing that and leave Donovan Sharpe and every other MGTOW member and leave MGTOW alone. Or you will be sanctioned against the law. because you're going against a person's rights, a person's constitutional right to voice what he feels and how he feels. And trust me, his woman knows exactly what and why he's doing it. And unless she had a problem with it, I know he would respect her. But therefore, seeing that she didn't have a problem with it, it's still up there, isn't it? So, Joy, as one respectful human being to you who is still learning, Joy, who is still learning the ways of life and the experiences that you have not yet experienced, because you are, after all, still young. And yes, I'm an advocate. I've been advocating for you as well as every other human being in this whole entire planet, in this whole entire United States. I advocate for people not only in a spiritual sense, but otherwise when it comes, and I'm in defense of the Constitution, our freedom of rights and choices and such like that, and much more. So, Joy, you may not agree with Donovan Sharpe. That's your God given right and constitutional right. But what you do not have a right to do is negatively assume that you know him and why he's doing it when you do not. It is sinful to assume something of a person. That goes against the Bible, Joy. What you did towards Donovan Sharpe, a fellow MGTOW brother of mine and many others, you went to the lengths of going against his rights of what he wanted to voice and how he felt and everything. And you also went against the Bible. I'm asking you nicely here. Do not do that. I can respect you, but you need to start respecting people. And you cannot assume that you are respecting people even after you voice something about Donovan Sharpe, a person that you clearly do not know, and in a group that you clearly do not understand, nor do you know the true meaning of it. So therefore, Joy Isabel, I'm asking again, and do note, this is not demeaning towards women at all. Do not bother anybody in the MGTOW manosphere. Do not judge those of who you do not know. Do not negatively assume of those that who you do not know, because you are not in the right to do so. Even if it's a defense against the man for the woman, when the woman clearly respects Donovan Sharpe. She clearly understands his feelings, and she is willing, as well as Donovan Sharpe is willing, to talk it through between one another. Therefore, Joy Isabel, you have no place in the matter. By making the video that you did on April 12th, 2020, you have no right to negatively judge, negatively assume things of anybody. You wanna go into the points of defending people? Go through law practices. Go through legal practices. Try to get your bar, as it were. But even in the law practice, You cannot use your feminist values and beliefs and try to justify them when you know it's not constitutional. And you have been taught by doing that it's not constitutional it's not constitutional in any positive light, no matter what the reason. So Joy Isabel, again, stay away from the MGTOW manosphere. Do not negatively assume about the MGTOW manosphere because you clearly do not understand the meaning and the reason. And you cannot say that men have no right to steer away from not involving women into their life. That's our right. If we don't want to involve women into our life, and if we don't want to date women, and if we don't want to marry a woman, that's our right. And even of the way we voice it and address it and discuss about it, it's not your place, Joy Isabel, to negatively attack or judge or assume. This goes for everyone, every other woman on the same aspect. Besides Joy Isabel. So Joy, again, seeing that you do not know the MGTOW manosphere, seeing that you think you understand the MGTOW manosphere, in which you do not, because it is a man space, as it's known. It's a place for men to get together and talk, just like what's known as the man cave. Women have spaces too, but the space that women do not have is going against the MGTOW manosphere. What space women do not have is going against the man's rights and freedoms and vocalizations and how they feel and everything. And Joy, you're doing that very thing by going against a man's rights, freedom of speech, and how he feels and everything, which is also against the Bible, as well against as it's against the U.S. Constitution of these United States of America. Joy, what you're voicing is not going to change anything. It's not going to change anything. Joy, Isabel, what you're voicing is not going to change our minds. It's not gonna make us tuck our tail in between our legs and go back to the plantation. It didn't work with the other women that went against MGTOW and any number of MGTOW members. It's not going to work with you, Joy Isabel. Donovan Sharpe, my fellow MGTOW brother and member, has every right to voice what he wants to and when he wants to and the way he wants to. And he doesn't have to check with the woman first. I know that's exactly what you're going to do is try to put that into play. The basic fact is that I'm sure that he has talked about things with her. But he does need to ask his permission. He is not her minion. Donovan Sharpe is not the woman's minion. Donovan Sharpe is not the woman's lackey or lapdog. Donovan Sharpe is a human being who has every constitutional right, even what that flag right there stands for and defends, as well as the Constitution. Those red stripes is the blood of many troops starting from the Revolutionary War that bled for our freedoms and rights. The white is it could be the uniform, or it could also be the sweat and tears. Right up here is the sea of blue. I'll show you. Right up there is a sea of blue. And in this country's history, in the history books, there wasn't 50 stars like you see there. It was a circle of 13 when Betsy Ross first sewn the first American flag. Over time, in various different parts of the century, many more stars were added once it became more than law. And even before that even happened, the Constitution as well as the Bill of Rights was put into play. You want to call it, you can also call it enacted. We, the people of the United States Constitution, was enacted possibly before or after. You figure it out. I know, but I'm not going to say. You figure it out, Joy Isabel. And with that, both of those documentations state exactly what I said, along with the Bible. You cannot negatively assume anything of even Donovan Sharpe or anybody else, even if they do talk about their woman, even if they do talk about anything else. And no, he wasn't talking about he was upset because he didn't get any sex from her because of the fact that she gained weight. That's not the reason. Or however you voiced it is still not the reason. Really, it doesn't matter to me how you voice it, but it's still not the reason. Doesn't matter how you voice any damn thing, it's still not going to be the reason. Therefore, that also shows, Joy Isabel, you do not understand us men. You will never understand us men, but we understand you women, and so do I. I know the male and female psyche, and I know psychology. And one, I was raised by women. And if you start attacking me, even after I say that, you will be in the wrong, not only in the constitutional aspects as well as the biblical aspects of spirituality. You will be against it in many other ways to where I can easily take legal action and you won't like it. And I'm not going to say I will or won't, but do not judge those you do not know. Do not negatively assume those of who you do not know. Do not assume that you know the MGTOW manosphere and why there's a MGTOW manosphere when you don't. Many women have done that. They eventually stopped, as you can well tell. So, Joy Isabel, logic dictates that you have no right to negatively assume, judge, and think that you know the reasons of what Donovan Sharpe or anybody else in the MGTOW manosphere or anywhere for that matter says and why they say it. You're not defending the woman. You're not doing a damn thing positive. To you, you might be doing something positive. You're still young. You're still experiencing life. Okay, that's an acceptable part of it right there. But the way you're going about it is not constitutionally right. It's not it's not without sin. Thereby, it's not a it's totally against the Bible. There's nothing about it that's not against the Bible, and there's nothing about what you're saying even against Donovan Sharpe and about Donovan Sharpe that's not against the Constitution and his rights and his freedom of speech. So, Joy Isabel, again, logic dictates that you stay clear away from the MGTOW manosphere and quit judging men because you have no place to. You want to judge your boyfriend, that's all well and good. You'll just end up being single, that's for sure. Just like many other women have been because they negatively assumed and negatively judged and sinfully did things against the man, even vocally, as well as the aspect of action. Even behind the man's back, why women are no longer with the man and why they're wondering, where are all the good men? When really, women are really saying, Joy, and this is the damn truth, whether you agree with it or not, I don't really give a damn. But what women are really saying in this gynocentric society, known still as the male dominated society, is where are all the men that we women can manipulate and control and get everything that we think that we deserve and that we're entitled to, when really the base of an actual entitlement that women have put in their minds and have been brainwashed with by the feminist and Me Too movement is non existent. No way. In reality, the only real spirituality of entitlements, the only real entitlements is spiritual entitlements. But also Joy, Isabel, with even the spiritual entitlements, you have no right to say what you said about Donovan Sharpe, even when it came to what he said and how he said it and why he said it. That's only between him and his woman and the MGTOW manosphere and the MGTOW members that he innocently voiced towards the MGTOW manosphere, voicing how he felt and what he had a right to say. So, Joy Isabel, know your place, stay clear away from the MGTOW manosphere, and do not negatively judge even that of what you do not know or understand, and do not negatively judge and assume people within the spaces that you do not understand or even know. I'm just stating this as, let's put it this way. If I had children, I would say the same thing. I would teach them the same thing. Would they go about it? Who's to say? But the basic fact is, if they did, cool. But if they didn't, they'd have to have a good reason why. And Joy, Isabel, you don't have a good reason why. You may think so, but you don't. guaranteed. This is Logical MGTOW Spock. Donovan Sharpe, Logical MGTOW Spock, is saying what he said because you are in the right to what you said, even if women do not agree with it. That doesn't matter. But what matters is Donovan Sharpe, MGTOW brother, you have every constitutional and God-given spiritual right to voice how you feel and what you want to say, even on social media, like every other woman has already anyway. And we know this as MGTOW brothers as well. This is Logical MGTOW Spock. MGTOW brothers and soon to be future MGTOW brothers and current MGTOW brothers, stay strong, stay self-assured, self-confident, have faith and belief and love and trust within yourself. Stay free from feminism, Stay free from feminism and the feminist baloney, and basically the feminist bullshit. Stay single. Stay MGTOW for life. And MGTOW brothers, again, live long and prosper.